1972, a terrific high-scoring era in football, and the grand final that year was between Richmond and Carlton. They'd met in the second semi-final and played a draw. Richmond won the replay by 41 points, and Pete were hot favourites going into the grand final, despite the fact that Carlton had finished on top of the ladder at the end of the home and aways.
Yeah, well, they were a great side those days. They had some champion players. In fact, an interesting point about these two sides is the number of later coaches of AFL, VFL football that they produced. And I was just looking at the list. Carlton, Jesselenko, Walls and Percy Jones. Of course, Richmond. Have a look at this for a list. Kevin Sheedy, Paul Sproul, Francis Burke, Barry Richardson, Royce Hart, Kevin Bartlett and Ian Stewart. Not only were they magnificent footballers, they all became coaches later on. But that was a sensational game, a high-scoring, two of the power sides of the early 70s, and they had great goal-kicking potential, as was evidenced by the scores in this game.
And these days, they say there's no room in football for a captain coach. But that year, John Nichols was a captain coach in his first year. Well,
John Nichols, as you say, his first year, but John Nichols is one of the great football brains of all time, and anyone at Carlton had vouched for that. And Big Nick, he positioned himself in the forward pocket for most of that game, and allowed, I think it was Percy Jones, to do the ruck work. But with Big Nick, of course, he kicked 6 goals in that game, and he was a thorn in the side of Richmond. But they also had Jesselenko and Robbie Walls. Wow, what great players they were.
Talk about a multi-pronged attack. Geelong have it in this era, and Carlton had it then in 1972 with Jesselenko and Walls in the 2 key forward posts. Let's take a look at the score as it was at quarter time, and the Blues got away to a rip-roaring start. 8-4-52 in the first quarter against Richmond's 5 goals for 34. But it only set the scene for what was to follow, an absolute cricket score at the cricket ground. We pick it up in the second term.
At the MCG, it's umpire Bill Della about to bounce the ball, starting the second quarter of the 1972 grand final. At the start of the second quarter, we find Carlton are 8-4 to Richmond 5-4. There's a free kick going Richmond's way. Richmond in the second quarter will be kicking down to the Richmond end of the MCG, and naturally Carlton up to the scoreboard end. Can Carlton keep it up? Francis Burke takes his kick down towards centre half forward. Plenty of Carlton defenders there. Through they come. Hart tackles strongly. Southby couldn't get away, but it's Morris with the ball. Morris running into an open goal. There's a wide opening for the Tigers. Yes, indeed. 34 seconds into the second quarter, and Morris has popped one on the board for the Tigers, and they look a lot better. Carlton will never feel safe until this match is over, if they're going to win it, Ron Barassi.
Well, no team in the final does feel that way, Mike, until that bell goes. You just don't know, and particularly, as you say, with Richmond, because they have a very good record of fighting back. That was a great answer to Carlton's great first quarter. So let's see what's going to happen now as the bounce goes up. Jones is in there, still in the ruck. A great effort from Jones. He's not goes astray, straight to Burke. Out to the half-forward flank where Vin Wade on the half-back flank punches the ball away from Richardson. However, Sproul gets it, fumbles at the moment. Royce Hart's in there over the ball, ducks away with it, but Paul Sproul has been paid the free kick. I couldn't quite see what it was for, however. It was certainly an E for an effort job as Paul Sproul comes in now with a drop kick up towards full forward. A big pack of players fight it. Southby coolly and calmly takes the 2 grab mark, as a lot of Jess Southby's marks are, and he puts the Blues out of pressure, out of trouble up towards the centre position. We see his kick go. Sid Jackson playing basketball. Eventually comes to Adrian Gallagher. His kick goes wide to the half-forward flank. Got Walls is in there. Beats Hunt on that occasion. A beautiful kick there. Awkward one. Finds Neil Chandler, whose man Walsh had been left, and his kick goes towards goal. That's a goal. A great goal by Neil Chandler. Full marks there to Robert Walls, who was about to kick the ball with a straight follow-through, but saw Chandler at the last split second and flipped it across the side of his foot to find Chandler all on his own. He'd been left on his own by Wayne Walsh. 2
minutes into the second quarter. Ronnie, it's unusual to see a grand final of this high standard so early.
Yes, I agree with that, Mike. It was similar to the second semi-final, but there wasn't the scoring that there is in this game. There's the bounce now. Jones and McCullough runs the game. No one gets the kick. A big pack of players. Bartlett's in there. Bundled away from the ball. A free kick has been called to Bartlett on this occasion. He plays on. He's shepherded off by Francis Burke. It goes up towards Royce Hart. Royce Hart misses the kick. A big pack of players there. Desperation shown. Coming hand passes across to Richardson, who is forced a hand pass virtually to nobody to an open goal. He was hoping to find Ricky McLean, but Ricky McLean had come out to help him, and so the ball ran through for a point. There's the score now. Carlton 9-4, 13 shots to 11 by Richmond. Richmond have a 17-point deficit as Jeff Southby kicks out a little bit high, but still 65 yards as McCullough almost gets the mark. There's the man of the moment. Barry Armstrong going once again on his left foot, picks out Sid Jackson, who takes the mark coolly under pressure there. Goes wide to the flank, and he'll find Robert Walls here. Walls got the run in on Hunt, runs around everybody there. Comes in now towards goal. Whoa, baby.
In the second quarter, within 3 minutes and 20 seconds, 3 goals have been scored. Bobby Skilton, a freak game.
Well, that couldn't even describe it, Mike. This football at the moment is absolutely marvellous. It was great play then by Jackson. From the bounce again, it's Jones who once again beats McCullough for the knock, but Francis Burke, his kick smothered. It comes back to Burke once again. He breaks out of the centre with a long kick, almost finds Neil Baum. He's bustled out of the side, a long hand punch by Southby, goes through. Armstrong knocks it on towards Hall. There's players going everywhere at the moment as Hurst of Carlton comes out, breaks onto his left foot, puts a short one in, finds Dixon. Dixon about to hand pass, but plays on with a kick down to centre half forward. It's Chandler who knocks the ball on past Walsh. It's Walls coming in once again. He grabs the ball, puts the ball onto the left foot and swinging back towards the goals, and once again Walls put it through, and that's Walls' second in a matter of about 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, and his third so far in the game.
4.5 minutes into the second quarter, and 4 goals have been scored. 1 to Richmond and 3 to Carlton.
Carlton 11-4. Richmond 6 goals 5, and there they are, the Brains Trust. Tommy Hafey, you can see from the look on their faces. Tommy Hafey obviously not happy. Umpire Bill Dalla walking past Francis Burke, who's trying to urge the Richmond boys on. And they need a lift at the moment. As again, it's Jones and McCullough. A big knock from McCullough. Knocked on by Morris. Dool knocks the ball away from Hart and comes back to Morris. He bursts straight down the ground. Puts the ball down towards the goal square. It's McLean and Southby, but a great mark in defence. Taken by Southby. He plays on quickly, running around the outer flank. He's bounced the ball twice, puts the left foot down towards the centre wing position. Jones is up high, comes through now. It's Waite who bursts through the pack, breaks away for Carlton. Looking for Robert Walls. Walls is up high, and it's Walls almost takes the mark. Plays on, dives on the ball. There's a pack for him, but Keogh comes out with the ball. Keogh runs around and plays, drives it towards the big one. Gonna take another one to Carlton. Keogh's second. John Nichols in the screen now. You can see the elation on his face. He's yelling at Kevin Sheedy, but Sheedy's not wanting to look back as Carlton go to 12 goals 4. Hey. Richmond 6 goals 5, and what a quarter.
Carlton have kicked 4 goals in 3.5 minutes. How is that?
It's not bad, Mike, seeing Richmond kick one as well in that same time. This is fantastic football. And the crowd, you can hear them roaring. They're really going at this, and even though it's not an even game at this stage, but it's so exciting to see the brand of football being displayed at the moment.
It's incredible, and you're watching it through the Channel 7 network. At the MCG, Dalla bounces the ball, up goes Jones, taken there and kicked forward by Gallagher. It's at centre half forward for the Blues. Hunt knocks the ball away. Jesselenko manhandled, but he picks the ball up. A hurried kick, he couldn't do much else about it. Taken by Kevin Bartlett of Richmond. Bartlett now to the wing position. McMillan throws himself at the ball, well played. Over to Royce Hart. Here's trouble for the Blues. Look at Hart go. A hand pass to Francis Burke. Burke a long kick down forward. Barmer's there, it's his. Beautiful. Beautiful Neil Baum. A great mark. And Baum has already kicked one. He would be 35 yards out, directly in front. Kicking to the Richmond end. Richmond need this one. Baum kicks. It's swinging. But it's there. And Richmond reply at the 7-minute mark into the second quarter.
What a game.
Mike, Richmond have moved Graham Bond to the back pocket. Kevin Sheedy's gone towards the centre of the ground, exactly where Sheedy is going to play. It'll be hard to see at the moment. The board reading, Carlton 12 goals 4, Richmond 7 goals 5. There's Bond down in the back pocket now with Trevor Keogh. Sheedy is now back in the centre of the ground. Bond coming from the centre wing position. Possibly Sproul will go to the wing. Sheedy to the centre. It's just hard to say at the moment just what move Tommy Hafey has made. But
Bobby, in the second quarter, 6 goals have been scored in 7 minutes. 4 to Carlton and 2 to Richmond.
Champagne football, Mike, as Robert Walls is there. He gets bustled aside. It's taken by Sheedy. Sheedy can't get clear, but it's a free kick to Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy at centre-half back at the moment. A shocking kick by Sheedy. Goes into the centre of the ground. Hurst of Carlton comes away with the ball. He breaks clear of McMillan. Drives Carlton out of trouble as he goes wide to the half-forward flank. Looking for Jezelenko. Jackson knocks the ball back. It's Highwood and Jackson right in the race for the ball. Jackson falls at the crucial stage and the ball knocked over the line, and we'll find a throw-in on the Carlton half-forward line, outer side of the ground. 4 goals, 5 separating the two sides at the moment, as it's John Nichols there in the ruck. He gets a knockdown to Sheedy, but it's sharp by Kevin Bartlett. He gets a kick wide to the half-back flank. It's close to the line as Dixon comes through, can't gain possession of the ball, and it beats everybody over the line, and we'll find another throw-in. Ruckman getting ready. John Nichols going for the ball with McCullough. It's Nichols in front. McCullough gets a knock. It's knocked on by Jackson. Armstrong of Carlton comes through, takes possession of the ball, hooks the ball back. There's a pack of players forming, waiting for it to come down as McCullough was up high, knocks it close to the boundary line. Keogh's there, but the ball beats everybody over the line once again. Again, contesting the knock, it's the same players, McCullough and Nichols. Nichols gets a knock, but it's taken by Kevin Bartlett. He can't get the ball clear. Highwood of Richmond has it. He again can't get it as Gallagher comes in, puts the ball back down towards the goal square, and Jezelenko! What a wonderful mark on that occasion. Completely out of position, threw himself at the ball and took that one. Jezelenko has kicked 3. 2 goals to Jezelenko. Going for his 3rd. Jezelenko only 25 yards out. The kick, close to the goals, but it's again 4 points as Carlton really have a run on. They go to 13 goals 4 as Jezelenko kicks his 3rd. Richmond 7 goals 5.
10 minutes into the second quarter. Ron Barassi, I'm beginning to wonder whether I'm having a dream.
Well, it's certainly a dream that for Carlton supporters coming true, because they're playing superb football, and everything that they planned during the week in the way of tactical moves and talking to players and getting them really going in hard is coming off, as we see the centre bounce in there. Jones goes. He's been a dominant ruckman in this quarter, but there was some shepherding there against Francis Burke, I think by Ian Robertson, the man on his mark, as Burke takes the free kick now. Will drive his throw. That's indicative of how Richmond are going. Even Burke is not playing well. Paul Sproul couldn't take the mark, as we'll see Vin Waite on the half-back flank goes for one of his long hand passes out to the man of the moment, as I said before, Barry Armstrong. His left foot goes up toward Walls. A beautiful hand pass from Walls across to Peter Jones. Carlton advance once again, and it could be a mark here. This time by Boynich. He read the play well on that occasion, used his pace and dashed out to intercept that drive. There's his kick now out to the half-back flank as Paul Hurst flies high, couldn't take it. But Francis Burke does. He's the one hope that Richmond have at the moment. He's really playing well as he sets his kick into motion. Well down towards the centre-half forward position where David McKay flies. Couldn't take it. It's knocked across by Morris across to Kevin Sheedy. Goes for the wide one. Offside. And there's the first point for some time. And that's, as I said before, indicative of how things are going for the Richmond side. Nothing they try, not that they've had an opportunity to try very much over the past few moments, is coming off. And Southey with the kick now. Out, beautiful kick, a good 70 yards, up to McCullough. McCullough has the ball, punts away by Jones. Goes to Sheedy. Sheedy being clever has forced a handball under pressure out to Kevin Bartlett. He's got a lot of kicks, Kevin Bartlett. His kick, this one goes up towards the pocket, where we see McKay punching the ball away from Barn. Barry Richardson scruffs the kick along. He's got the ball now, has it, hand passed away, taken by Cumming, but his kick goes offline also, under pressure, and out of bounds on the full, taken once again by Jeff Southby.
Southby from the back pocket on the outer side of the ground, about to take his kick. It's another good kick. Oh, he's kicking magnificently. I don't know about whether he should be using a drop kick or a punt kick, but the punt kick he's using is travelling 1 mile. There's Bartlett now of Richmond. Richmond struggling to get back into the game. It's a high one. It's floating over the boundary line. That'll be Carlton's kick, or maybe a free kick on to Neil Baum. A free to Baum. Baum of Richmond now. His kick goes right across the face of goals. They go for it. It's forced through for one behind to the Tigers. We are almost 13 minutes into the second quarter, and the scoreboard reads Carlton 13-4 to Richmond 7-7. We're not even halfway through the game, and there's a game score actually on the board at this stage. Southby now kicks almost to the wing position on that outer side of the ground. A chance for Sproul, but he's tackled there by Armstrong. Armstrong comes out with the ball. A long hand pass. Here's Jackson. Jackson gets around Francis Burke. Jackson now on the wing position on the outer side of the ground. His kick goes to Dixon. There's Walls looking for it. It goes towards him now. Jesselenko! It came from nowhere. Wayne Walsh, you could see the puzzled look on his face. Jesselenko's kick 3. He would be 60 yards out, directly in front. It's on the way. It'll get the distance. No, it'll drop short. There they go. Richmond defenders, but it's Walls. Walls gets it out towards Jackson, but the ball goes over the boundary line in the forward pocket for Carlton on the member stand side. The throw in. There's Big Nick. McKellar goes up behind him, but Nick, around the neck. Gallagher. Well, Richmond really rattled. Players wondering what they can do to lift themselves. And Gallagher is no more than 20 yards out. You can say directly in front. You can see the angle. It's on the way, and it's right through.
Whatever Carlton can do, you know, Richmond's attitude after half-time could possibly be the same. They've still got 15 minutes of this quarter to recover in, and the way Carlton are playing at the moment, this is the quarter where Richmond are really in trouble because they've got to come back, and the way Carlton are playing, well, anything can happen. As again, it's Jones who beats McKellar. The knock, it's taken by Jackson. Jackson's kicks a wobbly old one. Walsh comes through and takes a timely mark in defence for the Tigers. Wayne Walsh. Roger Dean having plenty of work to do as runner for the Richmond side. As a nice kick by Walsh goes straight down the ground. The pack fly. Nobody can take the markers. Waite comes out. He bursts away from defence. Drives the ball down to the half-forward flank. But it's Bond of Richmond who takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Drives the ball right over the half-forward line. Barry Richardson's there. And a good, courageous mark is taken by Barry Richardson, who was under a lot of pressure then, but stood his ground firmly and showed just how much courage that particular player has.
Very gutsy.
50 yards out, directly in front. A kick that really matters.
It's there.
Like the player he is, Richardson's pulled through to bring up his second goal. A great goal for the Richmond side. A badly needed goal, and that would be the understatement of the year, I'd say. As Carlton 14 goals for, lead Richmond 8 goals 7. Richardson cool in the crisis on that occasion. It was a lovely kick, and one that I think will give the Richmond side much heart. Back in the centre, it's umpire Bill Della. McKellar back with a long run. Peter Jones coming across McKellar. Nullifies a lot of McKellar's work again as Robertson comes out with the ball. Hand passes across to Armstrong. Armstrong kicks the ball wide where we find Robert Walls. Robert Walls now has Barry Richardson on him after kicking that goal. Richardson's been moved down as Boyanich bursts away, knocks the ball on in front of him, throws it out again. Fumbles it though as it's recovered by Hall. Hall's hand pass is taken by Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy breaks away from the half-back line, looking for McMillan. McMillan's up high, has the ball knocked away by Hurst. It comes back again. He's under pressure, gets a hand pass to Robertson. Robertson a hand pass across to Armstrong. Armstrong getting many kicks. This time looks across. Almost a great mark by Sproul. He recovered quickly, puts it out wide on the half-forward flank. It's Dool and Hart. Dool leads Hart in the race for the ball, knocks the ball away, should get a free kick. Umpire Dalla agrees on this occasion. The Richmond crowd not very happy, but it was easily a free kick to Bruce Dool as he plays on into the centre of the ground and finds Chandler. Chandler plays on, almost caught by Francis Burke, but got around Burke, drives the ball down to half-forward. It's Richardson and Walls. It's knocked away. Highwood's taken down to the ground. It'll be Steve Highwood, the half-back flanker for Richmond, who'll take the free kick. Highwood, originally coming to Melbourne to do his national service. Broken Hill boy. Steve Highwood. Highwood's kick, it's a drop punt. He's going straight in towards the centre of the ground, looking for Rex Hunt now on the half-forward line, and Hunt takes a good mark. A 15-yard penalty will be incurred on this occasion as umpire Dalla indicates a very, very long 15-yard penalty, but it was probably worthy of that penalty as Hunt, a lovely kick by Hunt, it's right down towards the teeth of goal. The pack flying, it's knocked away, taken by Roy's Hart. He's playing on close to the boundary line. He can't get clear, he's under pressure by Dool. It's called play on as weight breaks away, puts a high kick down towards the half-back line. It's Dixon there with Sproul. Sproul knocks the ball on towards Kevin Morris. Morris balks around. Balks that opponent, does it again, runs around, gets his kick, it's right down towards the goal square, and a great mark there, taken by Ricky McLean. McLean has kicked one, lining up for one. Our statistician already assuming that McLean is going to put this one through. McLean right on the teeth of goal. The kick right through the centre. Ricky McLean's first. Carlton's ninth. Richmond's ninth, I should say. Tommy Hafey. Carlton 14-4, leading Richmond 9-7. 4 goals, 3 separating the two sides.
19 minutes into the second quarter and 10 goals have been kicked in this. Gee, Bob, it's an amazing game.
We thought 13 was a lot in the first quarter, Mike. We're not quite 20 minutes. There's no reason why there can't be another 13 in this quarter. And what a remarkable game. I'm sure that nobody at all would have assumed a score like this at half-time of this particular game. As Jones this time dominating the ruckwork, knocks it wide to Sproul. Sproul playing on, should be holding the man. Jackson's after the ball, under pressure at the moment, but there's no matter for this one, as the free kick has been paid to Paul Sproul. Sproul commenced in the centre, but Tommy Hafey had to make some moves. He's moved Sproul to the wing, Sheedy to the centre. Sproul's kick goes in towards half forward. Almost a good mark to Chandler. It comes through to Dool. He gets his foot to the ball. It goes straight to Adrian Gallagher. He goes straight up the centre of the ground. It's Richardson in front of Walls. Walls knocks the ball on. Goes on again. A great effort by Walls. Called play on. It's Burke who gets the ball out, but it goes straight to Gallagher. He spills the mark. Hunt knocks the ball on from Richmond. There's a pack of players forming as McMillan comes down the ground. He's on there with Chandler. There's a pack again, but McMillan comes out with the ball. Can't get it clear. And umpire Dalla has nothing else he can do but bounce the ball. It's at the centre half forward position for Richmond, with Richmond going to the Jollymont end of the ground. Jones again gets a knock. It's taken by Dixon. He tries to burst through the pack. Gets a hand pass in. Burke of Richmond gets a foot quickly to the ball. Sheedy's there. Throws the ball out in front. Should be holding the man. Agreed by umpire Dalla. Sheedy plays on quickly. His kicks off the side of the boot towards the pocket, and it's David Mackay of Carlton who takes the mark. David Mackay, permanent back pocket so far today. Mackay's kick, it's a high one. A 15-yard penalty being paid against Ricky McLean for running over the mark.
Well, Bobby, they tell me that yesterday in Melbourne they were asking and getting $30 for standing room at the MCG. And I'll tell you, if you paid $30 or $50, you're getting your money's worth. And, of course, those people sitting at home watching it throughout Australia on the Channel 7 network must be saying, well, we've got all the comforts of home and watching a great grand final. The 72 grand final as the mark is taken by Dixon on the wing position on the outer side of the ground. Dixon now up to the half-forward flank. Carlton kicking up to the scoreboard end. Walls knocks the ball away. Sheedy doesn't mess around. He kicks it and runs into one. He and Keogh have been having a go at each other right through the game. It's up towards centre half-forward. Kevin Hall. A beauty. Kevin Hall, a veteran. A great grand finals player. Remember him 2 years ago against Collingwood. Fantastic game. Hall now right up into the forward zone. It's gone through. Boyanich and Nichols went up for it. Neither touched it. And it's a goal to Kevin Hall.
Did you see Nichols then, Mike? It was a wonderful... He didn't actually shepherd. He just made sure that he knocked Boyanich's hands away so that he couldn't touch the ball.
Are you suggesting the big Nick knows a few tricks?
I think he might, yes. After about 18 years, he's certainly showing them today. It's almost, you could call that almost a Nichols goal.
22.5 minutes into the second quarter. 15-4. Carlton, Richmond at 9-7. Taken by Hurst. Hurst of Carlton now up forward. Jesselenko's backing back there with play, and Jesselenko's one out. He's kicked 3. And Jesselenko is 30 yards out, directly in front. The Worm It's on its way, but I think he's missed this one. No, he hasn't. No, it's swung back. Hafey chewing the fingernails as well he might. What can he do, Ron Barassi?
Well, he's trying a few moves, Mike. I think he's done all that he can for the time being. And perhaps he best just send a message round to play tight and hold on till half-time and then have a real session. There's Jones, who's been a tremendous ruckman in this particular quarter. McCullough's gone on at the game. Hunt gets the kick up towards Hart. But in front there was Bruce Toole, who's virtually beaten Hunt pointless in this half. Hart, I mean, pointless in this half. There's Doole's kick up towards the opposition centre-half forward, and it's Hunt. Back down at centre-half back there at the moment. I don't think he's been put to the centre-half back position, but he's certainly down there at the moment, possibly having a run in the ruck. A 15-yard penalty being applied against Robert Walls here. I'm not quite sure why, but Hunt's not asking. He's going to take the kick now. And a long kick of 70, 75 yards at least. A great pack of players flies. Nobody's going to get this. It's going to go towards the boundary line. Barham punches the ball back into play. Good play by Neil Barham, but Neil Chandler handballing across to Ian Robertson, forced to go to the left foot, but now has the chance to bounce and recover onto the right. Controls out wide. They're using this space beautifully, Carlton, at the moment. Walls is having a picnic with the space that he's being allowed to play in. He passes back to Ian Robertson, who balks around, goes for the kick, again out wide. They're using MCG spaces very well. They're showing Richmond how to use the spaces, whereas normally it's Richmond dictating the tune in this respect. Adrian Gallagher now with the ball, well out in the pocket, a good 60 yards from goal, goes well towards the pocket. On this occasion, John Nichols couldn't take the mark, a bit harder to have gained that. It would have been a great mark to have done it, but he wasn't quite there at the right moment and through for 1 point, making 101 to 61, a 40-point advantage to the Carlton side.
25.5 minutes into the second quarter, and Carlton are 40 points in front of Richmond. And Ron Barassi, this takes me back 2 years when Collingwood had Carlton in a pretty similar position as Hurst puts the ball forward. Nichols there was held onto. Through comes Jesselenko, loses the run of the ball, but he's into it. Big Nick dives there. And what's going to happen? Highwood's free kick. Do you remember that? How can you ever forget it? 2 years ago to this very day, and you were something like 43 points down at half-time, Ron.
That's right, Michael. This time it's going to be Carlton going in with a lead similar to that. Here we see Sproul breaking out the ball, goes for the drop kick, an underground subterranean one as Bruce Dool again looks like beating Hart. We've got tremendous balance, this player. Hand passes away, a poor one on that occasion, goes towards Waite. Sproul knocked around the head, a hand passes across to Cumming, but Cumming couldn't take advantage of it. And coming through there was Dool, but a free kick has been called and given to Paul Sproul, who's given quite a lot of value this half. One of the few Richmond players to at least break even and give some value to his side. His kick goes up towards the pocket. The ball comes to ground. Again, Dool gets it. Quickly ball handles the ball onto his foot, but it's intercepted there by Cumming, and he will have a shot at goal from well out in the pocket. It's going high to the square. Ricky McLean will need to fly high here, but a mark almost taken there by Richmond. Bartlett with the ball now has a chance, but fumbling. Steps over. In come Paul Hurst, knocks the ball to Vin Waite. Hand pass across to, grabbed by the leg there. The scruffy old kick by Keogh was taken by Burke. Burke to Walsh. Walsh forced the Keogh under pressure. Beautifully intercepted by Southby, taking the wrist on the first bounce up towards centre-half forward, but this occasion Barry Richardson, originally placed and starting at half-forward flank, now centre-half back, takes the kick.
Richardson puts his boot into it, over centre-half forward for the Tigers. The big men fly, no mark however. Now look at this, Mackay kicks it off the ground, but here's coming over to Morris. Morris breaks clear, he straightens up, he kicks. One behind. Ronnie, getting back to that memorable clash 2 years ago when you were coaching Carlton, although you were some 40-odd points down at half-time, you came out and won the premiership.
Well, that's correct, Mike, and it'll be interesting to see just what moves Tommy will make. He's made a lot already, but an attitude change is needed by the Richmond side, I feel.
Southby's kick goes to the half-back flank on the outer side. The ball taken there by Morris. Morris down towards the goal square. Southby flies up high. McLean goes over. Through they come. It's Southby sticking to his guns. Bartlett tackling him. Bartlett comes out on top. He's tackled by O'Connell. He gets around Bartlett. Bartlett steadies. He kicks down forward. A chance here for Baum. He couldn't get to it, though, and threw for another behind to the Tigers. Now, you can see Neil Baum shake his head as if to say, oh, hell, what can we do? Carlton 16-5 to Richmond 9-9. And we are 28.5 minutes into the second quarter. Bob Skilton.
13 goals kicked in the first quarter, 12 goals so far in this quarter, and what a game this has been as Southby goes to the outer side of the ground. Free kick has been paid, and it's big Percy Jones. Jones, given the mantle of first ruck today, has been a wonderful player for the Carlton side as his kick, looking for Robert Walls, another great player so far, has the ball punched away by Richardson. It's taken by McKellar. McKellar goes through and straight down the centre of the ground. It's McLean. He pats the ball, punched away. It comes towards McMillan. McMillan bursts through, can't quite get possession of the ball. Comes back again, knocks the ball out in front of him. Sproul's coming through around the ground, steadies up, goes for the open goals. A great goal by Paul Sproul. Sproul's first, and Ron Barassi mentioned earlier, Sproul has been one of Richmond's few consistent players. He's now playing on the wing with Kevin Sheedy going in the centre, but it wasn't a move that Sproul had to be shifted out of the centre. Board reading, Richmond 10 goals 9, trailing Carlton 16 goals 5.
We're not even at half-time. 26 goals have been kicked. We're 29.5 minutes into the second quarter.
As again, it's McKellar and Jones. It's taken by Robertson of Carlton. His left foot goes long and wide. All on his own as Robert Walls. He spills the mark. It's knocked away. It's Jesselenko, though. Jezza goes in towards the big ones. It's true. It's a goal to Carlton. And it's 14 goals scored in this quarter as Jesselenko kicks his 5th goal. Carlton 17 goals 5, a remarkable piece of kicking, 22 shots for 17 goals. Richmond 10 goals 9. Jesselenko's 5. John Nichols, although he's been quiet in this quarter, has been like a real general down there, indicating just what he wants from his whole side. Umpire Dalla, Jones and McKellar. Jones this time gets it to Gallagher. Gallagher with the right foot goes straight up the centre of the ground. It's Walls and Richardson. Neither player can mark. Chandler bursts through the pack, knocks the ball out to Jackson. Jackson comes down, does a blind turn, comes around, puts it down to the square, but it's Boyan. It's well out in front of Nichols. Boyan plays on quickly, bursting away, drives the ball to Sproul, and fortunately for the Richmond side, Sproul takes a mark. He plays on quickly, goes straight through the centre of the ground with a lovely drop kick down to centre half forward. Hunt was up high. It's the bounce beat McMillan. It came back to Hurst. Hurst goes wide, looking for Dixon. It's going straight across the ground. Dixon leading Sproul in the race for the ball. Balks back. There's 3 Richmond players, but a long hand pass finds Kevin Hall. All on his own. He has plenty of time to steady up. Drive the ball right down, looking for Nichols. Nichols is down there. He's up high. And Nichols has taken the mark. He's kicked 3. He's kicked 3. He's only 15 yards out from goal on a fairly acute angle, but nowhere near as acute as one of the goals that he kicked early in the first quarter. There's been 14 goals already kicked in this quarter. Nichols has the opportunity of making it 15. As he does, kicks truly. The goal umpire did not move. Both hands went up, and that's Carlton's 18th goal. John Nichols 4th. Carlton 18 goals 5. Richmond 10 goals 9.
Well, Carlton have never beaten Richmond in a finals match in 52 years. But by the living Harry, they're well on their way here today, aren't they?
I'll say they are, Mike. They're playing superb football. They're using the space of this tremendously big ground extremely well. Obviously, they've, as I said many times during the telecast already, they've planned this game beautifully. There's a knockdown taken by Richmond, taken once again by Barry Armstrong. He goes wide. This is what Carlton are doing, using the spaces. Keogh with a classy display there, whips away, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, goes for goal now, and it looks like sailing through. No, it's just stripped it away. Well, that's broken the ice for Carlton. They've kicked 18 goals 5 until this stage, and now they have a lead over Richmond of 45 points.
Unbelievable. And we are 32.5 minutes. Gee, they're long quarters in the 72 grand final. Waiting for Dick Clay to kick out. 2's on Richmond were yesterday with the betting boys. 2's on. Up goes Kevin Hall in the centre there. Couldn't quite take it. Taken by Morris. Morris down towards centre half forward. Rex Hunter's there. Knocked away there by Finn Waite. He loses possession of it, but he's getting a free, and Royce Hart says, oh no. Waite's hurt. I hope it's not his ankle gone. He's calling for the trainer as Dool kicks to the wing position on the outer side of the ground, and the mark is taken there by Gallagher. Gallagher of Carlton swings around. Oh, he's in real trouble, Finn Waite. The kick now to the half-forward flank for the Blues. There's Robert Walls. He'll be paid it. There's a siren, and Waite's in real trouble. Siren for half-time with the scoreboard at the MCG reading Carlton 18-6, 114, Richmond 10-9, 69. But it looks as if Walls is going to take his kick. He's going to take his kick. He's kicked 3. Walls would be a good 65 yards out. It's on its way. Let's see. It's going to drop short. So repeating for you the half-time scoreboard. Carlton 18-6, 114. Richmond 10-9, 69.
So the Blues kicked 10 goals in that second quarter, 10 goals 2, and Richmond didn't do badly. They kicked 5 goals 5. So a half-time scoreline, well, 18-6 would win you most grand finals, and it was only halfway through, leading 18-6 to 10 goals 9. They went on with it in the third quarter, Carlton, and kicked 7 more until they might have relaxed a little bit in the last, and then they saw Richmond rip home. So Richmond's losing score, 22-18, would win you 95% of games of football. What a 50 goals between them in the grand final. And the leading goal scorers, Jesaulenko finished with 7, Nichols got 6, Walls finished with 6, and Keogh kicked 3. And for Richmond, Baum kicked 5, and Sheedy and Richardson each kicked 3 goals. A terrific game of football, 72.
Well, one of the classics of all time, and will also be remembered forever, Drew. But once again, the fitness of Richmond, I mean, they trained so hard in those years under Tommy Hafey that they came on at the finish of the game as normal. They were a super fit side, and I think that won them a few premierships, but on that occasion they were beaten. Superb kicking by Carlton, yet on the other hand, Richmond had a lot of the play and kicked poorly, but as I say, one of the classics of all time.
OK, now we move ahead to the 80s, and if you're an Essendon supporter, here's a